What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Mechanical Time. Today I'll be unboxing and reviewing the Citizen Promaster Aqualand, reference number BJ2169-08E. This is a watch that was loaned to me by a good friend, and I really enjoyed my time with it. So, without further ado, let's get on to the video. Alright, so starting off with the unboxing, as you can see, the packaging for the watch comes in this little cardboard box here. And once you open up the watch, you're going to be able to find the little watch box. And something that I really like about Citizen's Promaster line is how they do their packaging. Packaging on this watch is really nice. That's because this box here, not only is it very durable, but it's also very practical. It has a little handle here that you can use to carry it, and this little latch here to lock it in place. So you can use this to store your watch away, or whenever you're traveling and you want to bring a watch, you can bring your Promaster inside this little box right here. Once we open up the latch, we're going to see the warranty of the watch right here. And putting aside the warranty, you'll come across the watch itself and a complimentary diver's extension that you can put on the rubber strap. So the watch right here has a stainless steel case. It has a 46mm case diameter with a 22mm lug-to-lug width. It has a weight of 155 grams, including the rubber strap on it. This has a 200-meter water resistance, and it is also ISO compliant. The bezel on the case is a unidirectional rotating bezel. It has 120 clicks to it, and this bezel is really practical for timing, whether you're actually diving and timing your dives, or timing anything else. You can use this diving bezel to do pretty much anything you want to do. The movement of the watch is Citizen's proprietary Eco Drive, meaning it is solar powered. This movement reference number is B740, and because it's solar powered, it has no need for battery replacements. So essentially, all you gotta do is expose the watch to any kind of light, whether it's sunlight or any kind of indoor light. Doesn't matter what it is, it will charge up the watch and make sure that it is powered. This watch, when fully charged, can run up to 6 months without any light exposure, and the movement itself can last up to 10 years according to Citizen. Looking here at the case back, we can see, and it's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but here in the center you can see this little cool little globe logo saying Citizen Eco Drive. And an important thing to notice is that here it says do not open, service center repair only. That's because Citizen's Eco Drive is specific to them. So if you bring your watch to any kind of repair shop or authorized dealer, they won't be able to repair or service this watch movement unless it goes directly to Citizen. So that is important to know. And then everything else on the back is just the water resistance, the case material, the serial number, and all that stuff. So the strap is made out of polyurethane rubber, so it's very comfortable, and as you can see, it's also quite thick as well. This is a diving watch, so this is meant to be in a aquatic environment, and this strap is very good for that. In the box, it came with a little extension. Essentially, you would put it right here on the pin buckle. That way, if you're wearing a wetsuit, you can have extra room to put the watch all around your arm. In terms of the features and complications of the watch, it comes with a chronograph function. The chronograph can measure up to 1 second, and it also has a depth gauge. So whenever the watch comes into any sort of contact with water, it's essentially going to go into what they call dive mode. And dive mode happens when that little gauge right there goes straight up to the 12 o'clock position. These numbers you see here around the minute track, the 0, 3, 6, 9, and so on, is the depth gauge. So as you jump into the water and go deeper and deeper, that little seconds hand is going to go around and around measuring your depth. While this watch has a water resistance of 200 meters, it can only measure up to a depth of 50 meters. Over here next to it, you can see that little white spot around the minute track where it says level 2, level 1, and NG. Essentially, that is the charging status of the watch. So as you can see right now, it's in level 2, and level 2 is the highest charging level. That means it is fully charged. It can run up to 6 months like this. And as time goes on, you'll see the hand then move on to level 1, which means it is still charged enough to be used for diving. However, it is lower than what it used to be. And then if the gauge goes up to that little NG next to the 0, that means it is low on battery life. So that means you have to expose it to some kind of light to recharge. And when it's in that NG state, the watch will not go into dive mode when exposed to water. And then if the gauge goes straight up to the 12 o'clock position like this, when it's not in contact with water, that means the watch is completely dead. This watch has a date complication here on the side, which is very handy. And the watch is also really, really well loomed. The minute and hour hand has a lot of lume applied to it, and the hour markers around also have plenty of lume, making this watch very legible when it's dark. Alright, so taking a look at the watch's lume, it is very well illuminated. We can clearly see the hour and the minute hand along with the power reserve indicator and depth gauge. Looking at the hour markers, we can see that they're also pretty well illuminated, and that little lume pip at the 12 o'clock position for the bezel is used for timing whenever it's dark. So overall, I'd say the lume of this watch is pretty good. Now I'll put the watch on my wrist. I have a 7-inch wrist, which is about 18 centimeters, and because this watch has a 46mm case, which is quite large, it is pretty big on my wrist. My wrist is average sized, 7 inches, and even on my 7-inch wrist, it is rather a close call. The lugs do get pretty much to the edge of my wrist, and looking at it from the side, you can see that its thickness is also very substantial. It definitely sticks out from my wrist. This is the kind of watch where if you wear it as your daily, it can definitely attract a lot of attention because of just how big it is. Some people like that, some people don't. It's up to you. But the watch on my wrist, 7 inches, it does work. It isn't too big for my wrist, but like I said, it is cutting it a little close for me personally. So I'd say if you have a wrist that is smaller than 7 inches, like 6.5 or so, this watch might be a little bit too big. So overall, with my experience wearing this watch, I'd say the pros are its functionality. Especially if you are a certified diver, this watch is very functional with the depth gauge, with the timing bezel, with that 200-meter water resistance. It's able to basically fulfill all the basic needs of a diver. Now, I know that divers also use dive computers, which are a little more sophisticated and they do show some more information. Whether this can replace a dive computer is not for me to answer. I'm not a certified diver, although I want to be a certified diver, but I'm not right now. But I can probably imagine a diver wearing a dive computer on one wrist and then wearing this as a fail-safe on the other. I have heard of divers that do that with their dive watches. It's low maintenance because of the EcoDrive movement. It's basically never requires batteries to be changed out. And like I said when it was on my wrist, the presence of this watch is very noticeable. This watch weighs 155 grams, which is quite heavy considering basically all of that weight simply comes from the watch head itself. The straps, of course, because they're rubber, they don't really weigh anything. So because that weight is very concentrated on your wrist, you definitely feel it when it's on. And some people like that, some people don't. I personally do, but it's up to you if you want to have a watch that you really feel on your wrist or a watch that maybe is a little bit more discreet. In terms of the cons, the size of the watch can definitely be a big problem for people with small wrists. Because this watch is so specialized and built for diving, I wouldn't say it's the most versatile watch in the world. This is definitely not a watch that you can dress up. This is definitely a very no-nonsense tool watch, which on some occasions maybe isn't the best to use, but then again, you can wear whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Also, looking at the sapphire crystal, it's very reflective. And when I went on Citizen's website to see if it had AR coating, I did not see any reference to that. So that leads me to believe that there is no anti-reflective coating on the crystal, which does cause problems if it's under specific lighting conditions, which means that it won't be able to be as legible because it will keep reflecting light at you. Another thing about it is that the dial for me, in my personal opinion, is a little bit busy. I feel like if they did away with that 24-hour subdial, I feel like the watch would be a little bit more legible. It would be easier to read simply because there would be more negative space, and it would leave more space for the hour markers to fill up the dial and really pop out and make it a little bit more legible. But overall, I wouldn't say the legibility is that bad. I can still read the time pretty easily. So overall, my verdict of this watch is that it's a very, very good dive watch. This is what it was built for, and it excels at that. This watch is a perfect watch for someone who is a certified scuba diver who wants to have an extra watch on their wrist next to their diving computer. Or maybe if you're just really into big, chunky dive watches that really have a lot of presence, this watch would also be a great option for you. If you happen to own this watch, I'd love to hear what your experience has been like in the comment section down below. The link for this watch can be found in the description, and it can be bought for 30% off at the time of posting this video. If you liked what you saw, please make sure to like and subscribe for more watch content. It would be greatly appreciated. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.